What's up, Heat Ratio fam? I'm Dave Gleckner at DGleck from Twitter, back with another golf sesh. Wednesday night, the Twilight Ray. You know how we do. Getting those late picks in to set your lineups for tomorrow. Coming off a huge waste man victory. My boy Scotty Chef finally cashes one, and you know what? Probably had a lot of these flowing that night. Scotty finally did it. When he got to the playoff, verse Cantlay, you're just like, no way. He let another one go, but he rolls in that 26-footer on the third playoff hole, brings home some checks and brings home some money for him, me, and a whole lot of Scotty Scheffler fans. I'm very happy for Scotty. He's a name that's going to be around for quite a while, and a great first win. And that just lays out 3 first-time winners in the last 3 weeks with Luke List, Tom Hoagie, then Scotty Chef. So it's been quite a run. Let's see if it keeps going this week. A lot of people like Will Zalatoris. A lot of people like a lot of different names, but I will definitely get into that in one of my favorite tournaments. Like I told you, once we start getting out of these pro-ams and start dialing into these real tournaments where we can use our strokes gained stats and some other stats that we like to use, we can start dialing in some winners. And that's what we'd like to see last week. Obviously, Waste Management being one of those really fun tournaments. This one this week, just about the same. So let's kick into it with the Genesis Invitational out here at Riviera Country Club. Let me get that banner off there for you. Up in Pacific Palisades, California, this ends the West Coast trip. Pretty much the PGA will find, it's the final run through Hawaii, through Arizona, through California, and off to Honda and the Florida Tour next week. So this is a big one. And why is it called the Invitational? Because just recently, the Genesis Invitational turned into the tournament that you had to be invited to. This is a world-class tournament. Only 120 golfers come to this. We got the world's top 10. All 10 are here. Good, they just love this place, and this place draws the talent because of the course. The course has played several majors here, and it just really brings it's a course that the great players all around love to play. So let's look at it. It's 7,300 yards roughly, can stretch out to 74 on some days, depending what they do with some tee boxes. Greens are Poana, which is, a California staple almost. Fairways are hit at the lowest rate on tour at this place, 52%. And that's not because they're the most narrowest. It's just their shape and what people are trying to do here. You'll see a large driving dispersion. So you got guys that really like to grip it, rip it. The rough isn't terrible, so they don't mind being penalized a little bit by going into the rough if they can drive it down a little further. So this has often been known, as the third bullet there says, to favor long drivers, or as you've probably heard if you've listened to anything, a bomber's paradise. And if you look at the past 5 winners, you can kind of see why. Max Homa being the outlier here last year, he was 58th on tour in driving distance, but before that, you got Classic, Adam Scott, J.B. Holmes, Bubba Watson, Dustin Johnson, and Bubba Watson was actually 2016. He's won this 3 times. So, big hitters, long drivers, guys that didn't mind if they knocked into the rough a little bit, as long as they got down and had shorter irons into the greens. These greens are huge, by the way, too. A lot of 3-putt potential. Max Homa actually had 74 holes of 3-putt avoidance, straight holes of 3-putt avoidance last year, which was a key to his victory. One stat to know that we like to toss out, it really does favor people that have played here before, golfers that have played here. 8 of the past 10 winners at the Genesis had a previous top 13. Some of the outliers are James Hahn, but that was about 8 years ago. So really past 6, 7 straight have had some really good success here at the Genesis. So with that said, we got to get into our picks, right? That's what we do here. That's what we talk about. There's a lot of things to look at and like, and there's a lot of people on different paths. But what I tried to assess and analyze, yes, I looked at strokes gained off the tee. I was going to focus on driving distance, but with Max Homa's outlier last year and a few others early on, I looked more at strokes gained off the tee. Then I also looked at strokes gained approach. It's just been a classic. I didn't weight it as high as the others, but I looked at recent form with strokes gained approach. I looked at recent course or similar courses such as Quail Hollow. And how that aligns to a place like Riviera, which, if you're not surprised, Max Homa won it. Quail Hollow, Rory McIlroy's won at Quail Hollow. So it does have some similarities here. So I looked at, similar courses, and that was one I definitely brought up. Also looked at par 4 scoring from 450 to 500, as half the par 4s here have that length. One of the cool things about this tournament you'll see is hole 10. Hole 10 is one of the most famous holes, on the tour, and also plays as one of the hardest holes, surprisingly, for a less than 300-yard par four. It's well guarded with bunkers. Big dog leg right. Players tend to, go for it, even in three wood, and can get towards the front. But if they don't get there, they're often blocked out by trees. And then if not, these fast, firm greens with the bunkers all around. You've seen some highlights where a guy has hit it into the bunker back and forth across the narrow green 3-4 times. So this hole can get real tricky, but can also be very rewarding if you're very accurate off the tee and get there. So it's a fun hole. As we all know who golf, those drivable par fours, they're enticing, but they can spin you up to a 6 pretty quick or give you one of those threes that you really need to go forward. So with that said, gave you what I like as far as, my stats I looked at to build my model. So here's what I got this week. All right, why can't you got it, right? You got to go Patrick Cantlay. I was starting to say, why can't just lead into his last name? Look, lost in a playoff last week, was leading at Pebble the week before and faded late. Patrick Cantlay is playing some of his best golf and plays very well here at Riviera as well, as he's had 2 top 5s in recent history. He's hitting his irons. He's hitting it long. That putter just needs to, work itself out a little bit, and we know he can putt well. This may be the week, and I'm getting him 12-1, where we've had him at, I think he was 6 or 7-1 at Pebble. He was a little lower last week because, there was some more form in there, but 12-1 seems right, like a good number to pick for someone who's playing that well. So give me some action on Cantlay. Then I'm going to look at Xander Schauffele, who actually hit the ball pretty much the best all week last week out at the Waste Management. And then for him, he's had 4 appearances here, all top 23s. He's just playing so well. He's one of the few players that is positive stroke gain in all the key categories: off the tee, approach, around the green, and putting. Xander's about to break through one of these weeks. Get me some action when he's above 20? Absolutely. Rory McIlroy is another one. Really interesting with Rory. Some people are like, I got to see more of Rory. And while you may be right, let's think of this. Rory played out in Dubai and was winning going into the 72nd hole and just kind of crumbled, gave it away, and fell third, where Hovland took another championship. His last start here in America was the CJ Cup, where he did win with a similar. He's 3rd overall in strokes gained off the tee. He's just been striping them approaches as well. Rory is playing some of his best golf. I get it; he hasn't been over here, but anytime again, Rory McIlroy on a driver's paradise, a bomber's paradise is 20 or 22-1. We're in. And then last, I'm going to go Bubba. Bubba 40-1. My model plugged him out as 14th overall. 14th overall, I think I'm getting good odds at 40-1. He had a decent week out at the Waste Management where he's played well there too. And, a 3-time winner, as I spoke earlier. This guy, it seems to shape up for lefties. It seems to almost shape up a little bit like Augusta as well. And that's why I like Rory here, who is a big drawer of the golf ball from the right-hand side. So Bubba 40-1, why not? I think it's good value. And not my favorite golfer on tour, but someone that, he played well just recently when Harold Varner made the 92-foot eagle over the pond to beat him on the last hole. So Bubba has some form coming in, and it's a course he loves. Other plays I like this week, Dustin Johnson. Really could see him winning here. He loves here. He won in 2017. Plus 180, you get a top 10. I think this is going to get him right back in form and start the summer at DJ. I think DJ is going to have a very good season. And this is going to pretty much ignite, propel it. Not sure, he can win it. Don't get me wrong, but I really like the odds on the plus 180, top 10 a lot better. Robbie McIntyre, talking about a lefty that can bomb it. If you remember him from match play last year, this guy, he was driving 350-yard, par 4s down there in Texas. Well, he's going to like this one. But I don't like him, overall to get too deep here. He's just got to make the cut. Making the cut, I think he'll get in that top 40. Give me plus money? Absolutely. Plus 120 on Robbie McIntyre. Top 40. Matchup like Xander over Scheffler, just that hangover. We talked about Xander earlier. Love him to win. And Scheffler, I think that hangover is going to be a little bit too large. I'm fading him on most of my DFS plays as well. Enjoy the victory, Scotty. This course really demands a little bit better putting. And I'm just not sure it's going to translate to this week for Scott. And then Sung Jae In, I'm going to take as my top South Korean. He's pretty much just got to beat Si Woo. So if you just got to beat one guy, minus 120 seems pretty good to me. So Sung Jae, he actually shaped up ninth in my model overall. His strokes gained off the tee has been top 5 in the last 24 rounds, and we know that's what you need as one of your keys going in here. You need to be hitting the ball well off the tee. So with that said, that wraps up my picks for this week. My man Drums off one more week, getting that Super Bowl hangover all ironed out, shaking those cobwebs, getting his golf game ready. He'll be back next week. Definitely talk Honda Classic, where we've had some real crazy winners. We've had some classic ones too, such as Justin Thomas. So it'll be great to talk some Florida golf, move it back to the East Coast, get on my time. But until then, I'm Dave Gleckner. Heat ratio for Scotty Scheffler last week, and hopefully another winner this week. Until next week, my friends, I'm out.